What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gamer Dad channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So I got a request pretty much asking where I got my guns from. In one of my last videos about, a big lesson for new players, where I talked about strategy on some of the legendary, missions and all of that craziness, I had a request from one of our audience members, Manasa, and they asked me regarding my guns because they're actually a new Division player. I know new people are playing the Division 2. Oh my goodness. Anyways, I decided that I'll ask a few more questions. So I said, depends on what guns. And I asked, have you reached level 40? And this agent is still at level 30. And they're using the Emmeline's Guard and one of the marksman rifles. So I thought that today I'll probably work through a video where I can explain a little bit about some of the better guns in the game. So first of all, what you want to do, Manasa, is you want to make sure that you are prioritizing figuring out what your play style is. You see, that's one thing a lot of agents don't necessarily deal with. Is your playstyle is going to really affect the weapon choice that you make. And so once you're comfortable with the weapons that you like, then it makes sense for you to then focus on weapons in that category. Now, granted, there will be other weapons that in some aspect will show up and then you eventually like them and they would basically drive a new playstyle for you, but always focus on your playstyle from the very beginning. So that video that you watched, I was using the Scorpio Exotic, which is a shotgun. I like shotguns. And I was also using an SVD, which is a marksman rifle that I've always enjoyed from the onset of when it was first shown in this game. And the reason I was using it is because of the build I was wearing at that time. So keep that in mind as well. So many people don't run the SVD in this game. In fact, when I make my builds and say, hey, I'm using the SVD, I get like 40% of the comments saying, oh, you can use a better marksman rifle. Well, sure, but this is what I like. In that, in the way that I actually build and the way that I run. So I actually prefer this weapon. So you said you use a marksman rifle. I wouldn't even recommend this marksman rifle for you. But again, it goes to show that prioritizing your play style is the very best thing. Now, you already know the Emmeline's Guard is a named weapon. There are many named weapons in these games, and there are some of them that I would recommend that you actually try to get your hands on if they're dropping at level 30. The thing is, I don't necessarily know what's dropping at level 30 in terms of named weapons. I don't know if all of them are or if some of them are. If anyone in the comment section knows, please let me know. I've basically boosted all my characters on all my different accounts, and this is, by the way, my PlayStation account. It has a low shade level, obviously, because I have multiple accounts that I play the Division on, and I'm talking separate accounts. I can't double dip like, oh, I have a different character. No, this is a whole brand new account that I started, and my clan on PlayStation basically were gracious enough to help. And by the way, I'll leave a link in the comment section for you. Join the ALCN clan Discord and basically just leave a comment and say, hey, I need help farming weapons. There are all kinds of groups that run different missions, different runs, build runs just to find gear, and people will be happy to help you at any rate, okay? All right, so best guns, best guns, best guns, best guns. First things first is the gun depends on you, but in that video, I was using the Scorpio Exotic. The Scorpio Exotic is a new exotic weapon that was added to the game, and I think you only get one at level, you only start getting it at level 40 or so. And so this is a really nice shotgun that applies a lot of different kinds of damage to the enemy NPCs, basically septic shock with poison, disorient shock, and then also extra damage whenever you're able to stack it on them. So this is used with a lot of different shield build archetypes. I use it for my status effect build, but if you really want to go, gung-ho crazy, you can use it to be able to deal some weird kind of damage. I use it with this random build that I stole from one of my clan members. Shout out to Redline. I went ahead and inspected your character and I saw you were wearing this and I was like, I wonder what he's doing with it. But I haven't even run it, which is crazy. I put it together and I saved it, but I haven't even run it. And so that's another thing there. I used it for this particular skill build as well, just to apply extra status effects. That's how I use mine. Some people use theirs for damage. This is my raid build, which is a full-blown damage build that I just threw together. So when I'm running raids with the team, it's not the best, I know, but my clan wants you to run an all-red build, which is very hard for me to run because I'm a support skill player. So I have to really, really work very hard to not die too much, but I use it also in a damage-centered paradigm as well. But if you notice, it's actually one of my top used weapons. Look at my loadout and you see that there is a lot of Scorpio there. This is also another raid build that I wear to support the team while I'm using Negotiator's Dilemma. And that's pretty much how I run it. So we can look through the different builds if you want. I mean, there's no, it's not really a big deal regarding what I'm wearing. I mean, I'm wearing 4 Negotiator's Dilemma. I'm using this chest piece, the tardigrade, which gives my team a whole bunch of different opportunities to not go down in a raid. I'm using this particular pair of gloves, which honestly, I should be using a Badger Tough glove that would do work, but because the Contractor's glove gives me extra damage to armor, gives me extra weapon damage, gives me, LMG damage. I'll usually pair this up with an LMG sometimes. And this build, like, I usually change up stuff. This is just a rough sketch. I guess when I was putting it together, I didn't save the full build. So don't ever take my advice 100% on builds unless I tell you that I stole them. Then you can be sure that I stole it and I tested it out in order for me to be able to see what it's about. Another shotgun that you can get at level 30 is a Sweet Dreams. This is a shotgun that's also pretty cool, and its job is to basically has a Sandman melee attack. You can instantly kill non-elite enemies once you hit them with this weapon, and so we use it on legendaries from time to time. We run ahead, hit an enemy, they'll disappear, and that's actually what the talent is. The talent changed. It used to be actually another really cool talent where if you holstered it, if you did basically a dive roll, it will reload a percentage of your weapon. It was wonderful to run alongside LMGs, but they decided that they were going to change the whole talent system into much more active talents. So these are some of the really cool exotic weapons. Let me show you another one that you can basically get. It's almost a guarantee, and it's the Liberty Exotic. Now, the Liberty Exotic is based on the Outcast faction. Outcast factions, you can farm a series of these missions to get the components to build this weapon as well as a blueprint. So there's a system that you actually go around using to do it. You eventually land at Lincoln, and then you do, I think you do Jefferson Trade Center. I think you do Viewpoint Museum. I think you do Space Admin or something like that. But these major missions that are connected to the Outcast, they hold the tools for actually getting that weapon. So you don't have to wait for the random number generator to give you this weapon. You can guaranteed craft it and have it. It's a very good weapon, but it's used for shields. You have to know how to build them. So these are some of the weapons that I would recommend for you. And like I said, make your way to level 40, get the Warlords of New York DLC, and go ahead and try your best to do that. Now, in terms of named weapons, these also are very subjective based on your build. The Mechanical Animal is one that gives you the future perfection. So this is a named weapon that you can pretty much use. If you do a weapon kill, grants 1 skill tier for 19 seconds and stacks up to 3 times. Weapon kills at skill tier 6 grants overcharge for 15 seconds and then a 90-second cooldown. We had some agents that used to basically use this a lot, but not everybody uses it much anymore. It's better to just try to use your Capacitor, which is a level 40 weapon that you get from doing the summit. So go to level 40 once again, and when you complete specific tasks, you will get a guaranteed Capacitor. All right, so that's another guaranteed weapon as well. So the really interesting thing about the Mechanical Animal versus, say, another weapon like the Test Subject, which I have one right here, is these weapons pretty much give you these consistency in skill damage. So the synergy between building with your skills and building with your weapons is also a whole different paradigm within Tom Clancy's The Division as well. So your playstyle, like I said, is going to really dictate what weapons are best for you. Pyromaniac is a police M4 that deals more damage to enemies that are burning. So you have to have a build that can trigger some flames on the enemies. So something like this I would use with the Survivalist Specialization, which is basically this one, because I have incendiary grenades, and that you can go with that. Or you can get a chem launcher as well, and you can use it. So that's also the chem launcher fire starter. That's also another way to be able to, basically work the synergy between your guns and your skills, or your guns and your play style. Which other one is really cool out here? Dark Winter. Dark Winter is one for basically just melting people, trying to stack up critical damage. So if you want to run in front of enemy NPCs and destroy them, it's a wonderful gun to have. It is a Dark Zone exclusive, so good luck. Go into Dark Zone and keep farming, and hopefully you're able to extract one. Shotties, the mop. The mop is actually pretty good. If you can get a mop that has max rolled items and a mop that has a really good talent, this is a named shotgun. I think it may be dropping at level 30. I don't think it's exclusive to level 40 as well. So in my estimation, I ran through this whole thing just to tell you about some of the guns that I have and how I got them. But at the end of the day, you have to fine tune your play style as an agent, because that's pretty much how you get to enjoy the game the most. The Division is not necessarily like Borderlands in a sense, where one gun can be really amazing in one way and everybody is trying to get it. Not necessarily. I think the developers worked very hard to make sure that that was not necessarily the case. Now, it ended up devaluing some of the best, in quote, guns that could have been the best guns in the game by giving them very small niche uses. So a lot of the exotics have, super niche uses. And so that's another thing, that kind of holds them back. The Lady Death is wonderful in PvP. It can also be really good in PvE, but I've never really carried it. I like I like high mag capacity weapons, so I guess you can probably find a way to get your mag capacity shade level up. Once you get to level 40, give yourself a little bit more rounds. Blood King is also another really cool one. Farm that one. I think it's a level 40 weapon as well. I think. Help me in the comment section. And then Pestilence is one that you can get at level 30. In fact, if there's any weapon I'll say go find and prioritize, get the Pestilence. The Pestilence is really going to give you a lot of bang for your buck. And by now, I'm sure that you also know about the targeted loot system that shows you what loot's dropping in what areas, which means missions will show you the targeted loot and areas will also show you the targeted loot. So you can do control points, you can reset them and keep running them in order for you to get your chances at getting one. So Space Admin HQ today is doing shotties. It's a very long mission, so I don't even know if I'll recommend it to drop the Pestilence for you. But here's the trick. The Dark Zone, the Pestilence is basically an almost guaranteed high drop rate in the DZ. So if you're going to be going in for that Dark Winter, you might as well just pile up your list, go in one of the Dark Zones and keep taking out landmarks, opening chests, and you have the potential to getting any of these weapons. But I hope this video was, in a sense, helpful for you. Let me know if you have any more questions. I'll make another video if I have to. I don't really care. For me, if this helps you, it's worth it. Talk to you guys in another video. Appreciate you guys. And those of you who are veterans, please comment below and leave some suggestions as well. This is what these videos are actually. They're more of a community effort to kind of help new players to get situated. Peace out.